I bought this car 3 years ago as a non-running shell, got it on the road, then blew it up. And here we are now. This car is honestly my pride and joy. I wouldn't sell it for any amount of money or trade it for anything in the world. In this video, we're going to be stripping the car down completely and start the process of building my dream car. And since we're starting this build from scratch, we have a few more things we have to take off the car before we can start rebuilding it, including the subframes and everything else still in the shell. Yeah, amazing. Ow, my toe. Oh, right, that's good enough. I don't think I'm going to do an AC delete, so I'm going to keep these parts just in case. Oh, there's so much wires. That pretty much only took one full day. Now the Supra is pretty much stripped. These were the last parts we pulled out of the Supra. And then a full box of wires, and I have no idea how I'm going to put this back in the car once I start rebuilding it again. I wasn't too sure if I was going to keep or get rid of the stock sound deadening in the car, but I thought about it, and my main goal with this build is to make it as light as possible because this car weighs about 1.5 ton stock. So I'm literally going to do as much as I can to make it as light as possible. So I picked up some dry ice because this is the easiest way to get out of your car. So let's just put it in. I thought I bought enough dry ice to do the whole car, but I didn't. So I'm gonna have to pick up some more tomorrow. But there's only a little bit left to do, so I'm just gonna cut to weighing in how much we've taken out of the car. First bag of goodies weighing in at about 5 kgs. Second one coming in at about 9 kgs. So 14 kilograms we've taken out of the car just from the sound deadening. And that's not even all of it because I actually couldn't pick up the dry ice because they don't open until next week. So we're just gonna pretend like I did and say it came to about 20 kgs. As you can see, the Mark III Supra engine bay has a lot of holes we're not actually gonna be using. So I've circled around all the holes that I'm gonna be plugging up, which is actually all of the holes you see here. We're gonna be getting rid of the battery tray because we're gonna relocate it to the rear. A bunch of these small brackets, which were actually used to hold the stock air filter. And I've already grinded off a bracket from the firewall, which I hope I don't need. Now that everything I'm going to be changing is grinded down to bare metal, I can go ahead and start welding it. And as you can see, there's a lot of bare metal, so I'm going to be here for a while. Before I can continue welding my engine bay, I need some sheet metal so I can plug up all the holes that I'm going to be blocking off. And to save myself some money, I thought I'd just cut out some sheet metal from the car. But to replace this panel, I have a cutout from a fellow Supra owner's car who crashed theirs. So don't worry, yours is going to be living on in mine. Seems to be a bit of white stuff under there. Oh. This cutout's almost ready to go in. I just got a flat battery. Only have a little bit more to trim up here. Then I can just tack weld that in. The side panel situation at the moment, this whole part was just filled with Bondo, some heavy parts here and there, but it's pretty straight. Like, I can't feel anything major except for this part here. It is a little bit pushed in, and then obviously this part, but we're gonna weld a new panel onto there. I won't lie, I did get very worried about that, but at least it's not too bad and there's no rust under it. So I won't have to buy any more cutouts off another car, which is amazing. I'm not going to finish welding it this video because I don't want to rush this, and I want to make sure that the panels are completely aligned together. But so far it's feeling pretty straight, and I'm taking my time with this because when I paint the car, I don't want to be able to see this panel under the paint. It's on, but I've got a lot of adjusting to do. And I also just found the car that I got the cut-ups from on Facebook Marketplace. It's definitely the sad side of building cars, needing parts from one to build the other. I thought this would also be a good time to cut out the wheel well, as it's pretty rusted out in some spots. There you go. Still not too sure how I'm going to fill this hole, but we'll figure something out for the future, because I want to use this space. I don't want to have it, you know, a massive hole in my car. This side used to be filled with holes. Now there is only one singular hole right there. I plan to use that for something, but I can't really explain it till a later video, so just trust me. I decided to weld up the harness holes as well, which I've already done on this side. But when it comes to routing my wire harness, I might just pick a spot, drill a hole, and then just pull it through there. That way you're not going to have the harness come through there and see it, and it's all ugly. Now that everything's welded, sanded down, grinded down, primed, sanded down again, I'm going to be using some Metal-Tech filler. Only around corners to make the engine bay look nice and smooth, and keep it as thin as possible. You're meant to stitch weld. I didn't do that, but I've only done that in a few parts here. It just means this area is very stiff, but I've left everything else, so somewhat confident there won't be cracking. If it does, we'll just go front tub chassis, I guess. I've been sanding this engine bay for 2 days already, and I'm already over it. I still have parts like this to do down here, which it's hard to get my little sander in, so I have to do it by hand, which sucks because this is really tough stuff to sand. It's definitely not looking like a finished product just yet because it's all mixed match colors and bare metal. So if we cover it up with some E-Tech primer, even though it's nowhere near done sanding, you can sort of start to see what it's going to look like. It's definitely not close to being finished, but the majority of the hard stuff is finished. I'm also priming it now because I know I'm not going to get it done for a little bit, and since it's raining I don't want to get moisture into this and then the whole thing rusts out. I'm hoping I can move on to restoring these in the next video as well. We've made some decent progress on the car. Slow motion is better than no motion. I'm also so keen for this car to be one color again, so I'm going to start working on the next video.